Okay, guys, quick one. What would you do if you were told, that your father died when you were a baby, and then as an adult, a full-grown adult, some set of men just walked into your home telling you that your father was a king and then he just died recently, and you are meant to become the regent before they can crown your step-brother the king of the town, for peace to reign in the town. What would you do? Take up the offer, get to the throne, misbehave and not live again, or decline the offer, or take up the offer, do the good girl regent that you want to do, then let things go and go your way. And this is going to lead us to the Yoruba movie I'll be reviewing for today, titled Adele Oran. Oh yes, this movie is very interesting and a comic relief that everybody needs to watch. Like, you would definitely laugh all through, especially the part 2 of this movie. Oh yes, part 1 and part 2 is out, and I'll be talking about these two together for today. Adele Oran was actually produced by Wumi Toriola, and it actually features actors and actresses like we have Wumi Toriola herself, we have Remi Surutu, who played her mother in this movie. We also have Alaapini Oosha, who played Abore in the movie, and all other actors and actresses in this movie. And yes, I'll be talking about the good part, the bad part, the worst part of this movie, and also I'll be talking about my favorite scenes in this movie, and finally, the party expectations of the movie. And yes, by the end of it all, I'll be rating the movie. Yes. So that is what we'll be doing for today. So now let the drum roll and let's just dive right into it. So the first thing we'll be talking about is the plot of the movie. I asked a question when I came in. I was like, okay, what would you do? They said Wumi Toriola's father died when she was a baby, Omokoko. And all of a sudden, some set of people walked into their home and they were like, okay, your father just died as a king, and then you'll be the one to be the regent since at a crown your younger brother as the king of the town. So their Ifa culture says that the first female child must actually be the Adele before the son is crowned the king. So that's Adele. And yes, now let's talk about the good parts of this movie. See, for the part 1, I like the build-up of the story. Yes. In the part 1, they showed us how Wumi Toriola, was jumping from one job interview to another. Like I said earlier, they showed us the relationship, the bond between Wumi Toriola and her mom, Remi Surutu. In fact, I would say they actually get it right, because Remi Surutu only has Wumi Toriola. Wumi Toriola only has Remi Surutu. No siblings, no father, no husband, nobody else except them. So the bond is there, and they were able to interpret these roles. These two were able to interpret these roles very well. In fact, they did a good job with that. They showed us how the town where she was going to become the regent, how they were facing the problem of people dying mysteriously, people running away from home, and so on like that. And they showed us why a regent is needed before the son is actually crowned the king of the town. Yes, that was just the summary of the part 1, and it was actually nice. The build-up was okay, even though they actually elongated some scenes unnecessarily, but kudos to them. They really did a good job with that. Now, the second good part of this movie is the fact that they were able to depict what job seekers, what their eyes see when they are looking for a job. Oh no, like seriously, they were able to bring it out. They were able to show us what they really go through. They were able to do that, and they actually did a very good thing. Now, to the third part is the subtitling. The subtitling was actually okay. They did a good job with that. Although, they still need to like perfect it, do some other things, 1 or 2 things there, but so far so good. They really did a good job with the subtitling. And then yeah, that is it. Although I am very sure they will adjust and until they perfect everything. And oh yes, their visuals. In fact, I won't lie to you, when I was watching the movie, I was like, like, it seems this girl get more new, because she really spent money on the movie. Talk of the costuming, talk of the makeup, everything, the background, the visuals, especially. It was very clean and very, very neat, like clear. They did a very good job with that. So that is it with the good parts of this movie. Now let's move to the bad parts of this movie. You see, like I said earlier, we have unnecessary scenes in this movie. That's the first thing. For instance, now look at that part two. That part two, we understand that okay, Wumi Toriola was doing gra as the regent. In fact, she was already calling herself a king and was crowning herself with different crowns that she ordered from Amazon, according to what they said. Yeah, so we understand she was doing gra and so on like that, but using an R30 plus to tell us to show us how the gra was ó ti pọ̀ jù now. We already watched part one, part two, and at the end of the day àti parí fíìmù yìí, and it's not as if there is any suspense in the movie, because I can tell you that we all know what we are expecting in part three. I mean, we can all predict the outcome in part three. And another thing is, not even know the name of the town. I think that is one mistake they made. They could at least, let us know, okay, even if they are going to come up with a name offhand or a name that does not even exist at all, they could have at least give us the name of the town, to make the movie just a little bit interesting, if you understand what I'm trying to say. And the third bad part of this movie is the sound. Yes, we've always complained about the sound people of these Yoruba movie makers. I don't get it. It's like bí àwọn sound tó wà in charge sound wọn yẹn bí àwọn know àti ra irinṣẹ́ tó complete, because at a point you will need to lower the volume, at a point you need to increase the volume so that you can hear what they are saying, and as at that moment you increase that volume to hear what a particular person say, by the time the next thing enters like this, oh my goodness, it's like if you want to go deaf, you get now. So they really need to work on that. Now let's go to the worst part of this movie. As interesting as this movie is, I want to believe that the producer probably doesn't know much about Yoruba culture, or probably knows about Yoruba culture just decided to just write this story as a comic relief. That is the only thing I can say, because in Yoruba culture, number one, Adele ò lè hùwà bí yẹn láéláé, wọn lè gbà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Ìkejì, they would have done something about it, honestly speaking. Ìkẹta, àwọn olóyè, I'm very sure oníkálùkù ti máa jókòó sílé wọn now. Àwọn olóyè Yorùbá ò gba ìwọ̀sí, forget it. I can tell you boldly that olóyè ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ara wọn kọ ìwọ̀sí. They would rather sit at home than to be insulted by a mere Adele tó jẹ́ pé how many years ló máa lò tó máa kúrò lórí oyè. This one would have sit down at home, but yes, like I said, I want to believe it's just a comic relief, or maybe the writer of the movie doesn't really know much about the Yoruba culture. That's the only worst part I can say about this movie. Aside this particular lady, I mean, to me the garagara was too much. Hello, Auntie Emma, calm down now. Tó bá jẹ́ pé if all the touts, female touts in everywhere, this is how they do, is a lie. They don't do like that all the time. We know how when small thing, small thing. Let this auntie be calming down. Yes. So now let's talk about my favorite scenes in this movie.